I would say we would just jump right into it. And
Okay.
yeah, please tell the public what's your name and which gender are you attracted to?
Okay. My name is Corey Smith, and I am attracted to females.
Okay, great. How old are you and what's your height?
I am 32 years old, and I'm 5'7".
5'7". And what do you do professionally in your free time?
I am a dance teacher, so I'm a high school dance director currently, and I'm currently getting my master's chasing after being a college dance professor. So that's
Oh,
what I do
wow.
as far as a career. Yes, ma'am.
That's so cool. I saw some of your videos on Instagram. Like,
You know,
what is this? I was so curious because you have like ballet, you have hip hop, you have a lot of I don't know how to call this, like a specialized like a specialization in dance. Like, what is this the way that you dance? Is there like a special name to it? Because I've never seen the style.
yes, yeah, yeah. There's multiple. So I have a fairly wide variety of training as far as dance. So I've trained in ballet, jazz, contemporary, hip hop, West African, modern. I was a professional dancer for a very long time, about 7 or 8 years of my life, if you will. So anytime when I teach, of course, I like to make sure my students are well versed because that's how I made a career of dance. But just for myself, whatever genre I'm learning, I choose to adapt to. But if I'm the teacher, usually you could say there's a strong mixture, and I do my best not to. I try not to. What's the word? Give a hard name or categorize. That's a better word. I try not to categorize dance. I just enjoy movement unless I'm teaching foundational dance. Then we'll focus on either ballet, jazz, et cetera, as far as foundations. But for myself, I
Yeah.
try not to categorize it too much. I just like to move to whatever music I'm listening to.
That's so cool. And for how long have you been doing this now?
Whoa. Okay. So there's always the standard answer. I've been dancing since childhood,
Okay,
since you
yeah.
got served. Yeah, that's what got me when you got served. But as far as officially like chasing dance and making it a career, it was once I moved here to Atlanta, 2016. That's when I first moved here, and I moved here originally to chase dance as a career. So ever since then, dance has pretty much been my life for the most part.
Wow, that's so cool. I love when people make a profession out of their passion. So that's really nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you already mentioned, I guess you're currently located in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yes, ma'am. Specifically Norcross, Georgia, because I know some people be like, if you ain't in Atlanta or Decatur, you can't call yourself ATL. So technically, a little further north in Norcross, but
Yeah.
yes, ma'am, I'm close
Okay,
to Atlanta.
nice. And which country are you originally from? Are you like originally American or like African American, or where are you from?
Yes, ma'am. So originally born and raised here in the U.S. Originally from Tennessee, and then that's where I moved from once I got here to Georgia in 2016.
Okay, nice. Okay, great. And are you open for a long distance relationship?
Yes, as long as the other person is willing to put in the effort as well. Because I've had a situation where I've started the process of building something with someone long term, but they made it very clear that I would have to put forth all the effort early on. And then once they saw that I was willing to put in the effort, then they would reciprocate, which from a logical standpoint, I understand where a woman's head is. I understand that logically, but just emotionally for myself, I feel that that effort should be reciprocated. If I'm willing to take a plane to you, you should be
Mhm.
willing to take a plane to me. If I'm willing to drive 8 hours to you, be willing to drive 8 hours to me as well. Like as long as it is equally reciprocated, absolutely, I am not opposed to long distance.
Yeah, that makes totally sense first.
Mhm.
And I agree where you're coming from, especially me as a lady myself.
Mhm.
I understand the standpoint of both parts.
Right,
Yes,
right, right.
but I wanted to ask, I mean, you just mentioned a plane, so it doesn't matter at all where the person is
Yeah,
located.
yeah. So currently, like mentally and spiritually, where I am, I don't want to limit myself to distance because you never know who you can
Yeah.
connect with. You never know how natural I say collaboration, how natural the connection could be, how natural the compatibility could be, and sometimes you have that best friend connection over the phone, and the only thing that's limiting you is finding a way to make the distance work.
Yeah.
So me, I'm not opposed if it's outside of the city or outside of the country, as long as we're willing to have a very realistic conversation about, okay, we know we like each other. What are our goals? What are our
Yeah.
passions? What is the life pathway that we're on? And is there a possibility for our pathways to somewhat line up to where we can be in the same
Mhm.
city state, if that makes sense? So
Yeah.
definitely not opposed to it. Just with long distance, there definitely has to be a lot more effort. We both have to be in the same mindset of wanting to make it work, regardless of how many worldly distractions are around us. And then that realistic conversation of what is your career pathway? Can you make it work in the States? What is my
Mhm.
career pathway? Could I possibly make it work in your country, wherever that person may be located? So,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely not opposed.
Okay. Then last
Yeah.
question to that topic. Usually the goal is for a long distance relationship to end. Do you have a time frame in your mind, or you just kind of see what happens?
You mean like if I'm pursuing somebody, how long would I want to be long distance?
Yes.
I am divorced, and because of that, that helped me gain a very clear understanding of what I desire in a partner, what my standards are, what my boundaries are, things of that nature.
Mhm.
And I say all of that to say it doesn't take me long to realize whether there's genuine compatibility between someone and myself, just because I have such clear standards, boundaries, desires, non-negotiables, etc. So realistically, for me, I am at a place where I can propose in 6 months,
Mhm.
but there has to be a certain level of connection. There has to be a certain level of compatibility and effort reciprocated. So for me, I want to say around 8 months to a year. I would like to not be long distance. However, it also depends again on our schedule.
Yeah,
How often are we putting forth the effort to see each other? Because again, we also got to be mindful of finances.
for sure.
Flights aren't always the cheapest.
Yeah.
But if we're actively putting an effort, like, okay, we'll try to see each other once a month, or financially, we'll try to see each other every other month. I think that's more so what it bases off of, just how often are we making the effort to see each other. If
Yeah.
it's somewhat frequent, it won't take me long to decide whether I want to make somebody my wife and try to make our lives compatible. I'm
Period.
very clear on what, you know what I'm saying. I'm very clear that I want to be a husband, and I ain't rushing nothing, but I know what I desire.
I
Absolutely.
think you have a pretty healthy mindset about that. I like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So do you speak other languages than English?
I do not. No, ma'am.
Okay. So preferably the person speaks English, I guess.
Preferably, even if English is a second language,
Mhm.
preferably that would
Yeah.
help. It's not that I've never wanted to; I've just never taken the time to actually take the time to learn a second language. But I would be willing to at least start the process, and
Mhm.
a romantic partner would obviously be an amazing motivator. So
Mhm.
definitely not opposed to someone speaking another language, even if English is their second
Yeah,
language.
yeah. Okay, cool. I said this because I mean, back in the day, I thought this was like unrealistic. If the person speaks one language, then it has to be the same language. But I
Hmm.
have an example in my family where they actually learned how, like, they learned the language of each other. It's pretty crazy. But now they
Oh, that's
speak
beautiful.
each
That's
person's language perfectly.
beautiful.
Like, really,
I
I was
love it.
so shocked.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm down for that. I'm down for stuff like that. But that is beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So, yeah, are you religious and are you interested in a partner that's religious?
Yes, so I am very big on my relationship with God, very big on trying to make that a day to day aspect of my life. Am I perfect? Obviously not. And some people I know when they hear that, they immediately think, not everybody, but some people I know hear the word Christian or a man being like following in Christianity and feels like this man may feel like he is better than me or that my sin is worse than anybody else's. And that's not the case in any sense. It's just my relationship with God is something that I try to work on a very consistent basis. And I have to have a partner that is actively on that same path. That's one of my non negotiables.
Hmm. Yeah. So, also Christianity, or is it okay if the person follows another religion, but yeah, believes in God is what I'm trying to say.
For me, specifically Christianity, just because I've tried to date people from either other religions or people who, not specifically atheists, but just didn't believe in anything or believed in the universe. And even though the initial attraction was very clear, Once we got to life values and
Mhm.
life goals and characteristics that we're trying to base our lives off of, and then the conversation about children, how would we want to raise our children? Both times that I tried it, there was always a veer, like a veering away from each other. And
Yeah.
then there were times where I would feel like I would put my relationship with God on hold because I am a heterosexual male. I'm currently not sexually active. I don't know if that's a question, but I'm currently not sexually active because of my relationship with God. I've been
Mhm.
sexually abstinent for the last about 2.5 years, ever since my
That's
divorce.
impressive.
Nothing but God, because baby, I want it, and I ain't gonna lie to you. But but yeah, me being serious about my relationship with God is what another reason why I say my partner has to as well. Because again, I'm trying to be mindful of everything, and that's including my body and my sexual desires. So yeah, it definitely helps if we're both in the Christian mindset for sure.
So you are preserving yourself for marriage, or
Yes, ma'am.
okay, wow, that's really good.
I, pre-
There's I know there's someone out there. I just know it. I feel it in my
hey,
spirit.
hey, I appreciate it. Help me out. Help me out.
Okay, great. And duh, duh, duh. So you just mentioned you see yourself getting married again, just to make that clear.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
good. Do you have children?
I do not. No, ma'am.
Okay, and are you willing to date someone with children?
Now, no, I am not. That's one of my other non-negotiables. And before, if anybody sees this, I am not saying that single mothers don't deserve love. I'm not saying that single mothers are quote unquote lesser choice. I'm not saying anything like that. Just from my experience, I've
Mhm.
tried it. It didn't really work for me, and I just desire simply to start my family with my partner, and both it be a first for both of us, just from my
Rightfully
past
so.
experience. That's all.
Rightfully so. I 100% agree with that sentiment. As you
Yes,
said, doesn't mean
ma'am.
that no people with children are less desirable, whatever. But
Hmm.
I think that every person should have the choice first and desire, and it's normal to have that desire to start that with a person who also starts that. How do you say that path? You could say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right,
Sorry, my
right,
English.
right.
That's not my first language, so don't judge me.
Okay, and that's fine. Like I said, I'd work. I'd learn. I'd learn. Okay, teamwork.
Okay. Um, and yeah, but you do want children in the future, right?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to have children.
Do you have like an amount of number in your head, or I mean, the lady has to
So
know what she's getting into it.
right, very, very true. I want 13 kids now. Now, but I've always told myself to, but how many kids I want, as well as like a final living place, is definitely a conversation that I want to have with my partner. Because at the end of the day, she's the one bearing the kids. So I
Mm,
may want to, and she may say, "Baby, after that one, I'm done. I ain't going through that again." And that's fine. I'm willing to compromise because that's what you do to make love successful. So even though I say two, I am very big on partnership because I feel like successful romantic relationships require adaptation, sacrifice, listening to each other's needs and desires. Basically, two people pouring into each other.
yeah,
So if she says she can only do one it is because baby, I'm not the one carrying it. So I can't tell you what your body can and can't
yeah,
handle. But if she says she wants to have three, I bet let's sit down and make sure we're financially comfortable enough to take on three. But yes,
let's
I'm
go.
definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Okay.
down. So two is my ideal, but I'm flexible in that because I base that off of what my partner can handle as well.
Yeah. Okay. What do you enjoy doing in your free time, except of
Mhm.
dancing?
All right, okay, because dance is big, but so I like to put it simply. There's like five main aspects about myself. Very big on my relationship with God. Very big on dance. Very big on fitness. Working out is a big thing for me, like health and nutrition. And I am a video game and anime nerd. I don't know if you can see some of these anime
Oh
posters in the
gosh.
back, but yes, I am. I am a video game and anime nerd. Now, before people see this, it's not something that rules my life because I know some people have this mindset. If you play video games or watch anime, you do nothing else and you sit in a dungeon eating Cheetos. It's nothing like that. It's just instead of clubbing, partying, going to hookah lounges or anything like that, I prefer watching anime, playing video games, going to anime cons. I've cosplayed a few times before, but things like that are basically things I enjoy doing on my free time. I'm also big on enjoying the outside. Like I love hiking, I love trails. Actually, this summer I'm going on a trail tour, if you want to call it that, during this school summer break, where I find multiple trails in and surrounding the Georgia area, and I just go hike just because I enjoy being outside. So those would definitely be the main five things, though.
All right, great. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you have a financial requirement for your partner?
I don't have a financial requirement. It's definitely a partnership thing because I'm a realist.
Mm-hmm.
I am a dance educator, basically a dance teacher. It's just I do dance education. And even though I'm about to get my master's, it's not like I'm going to shoot to making six figures.
Yeah.
I know how much I make. Can I take care of two people, even three if we have children? Yes, but that does mean that we have to live under the means that I deem is ideal for us because I'm very financially savvy. That's something I got from my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother. So I do my own budgets manually. I'm mindful of where I place my extra income as far as do I put it to savings, do I pour into my investment account, how much I'm saving towards. Because in the future, I would like to get a house. I don't want to be living in an apartment my whole life. Like I'm very financially savvy, and mindful of how I spend. So if I have a partner that says I would like to strictly be a stay-at-home mom, if we connect to that level where I want to make that work, absolutely, I'll find a way to do it as long as she is willing to understand money does not stretch as long because I'm using all of my money for everything that we do. It's no longer my money, it's now our money, and we're living off of
Mm-hmm.
one paycheck. So I don't have a financial requirement, but it would be nice if I met a partner if we had to put a number on it. I don't like putting hard numbers on stuff because you never know what may happen in life. Somebody gets laid off, somebody loses a job, somebody is injured. You never know what can happen in life. But if I had to put a number on it, it would be nice if a partner would be comfortable doing like maybe a 30/70 if we had to like
Mm-hmm.
put a hard percentage. Like I'll
Mm-hmm.
take care of the primary bills, the main bills in our billing account. As long as you're willing to pay 30%, we can at least have a comfortable living space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I understand how that question could maybe be uncomfortable for some people to answer. It's
Mhm.
just like a hypothetically question because I've seen a lot that people, or in general, relationships break because of finances also,
Mhm.
and people
Very
don't
much
really
so.
speak about it from the get go. So I think, in my opinion, it's important to understand where the person stands and what kind of lifestyle they desire. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, good. Um, Great. So, what are your deal breakers in a lady or in a relationship?
Oh, okay. So
I mean, you just
my
mentioned a few, but sorry. Keep
Yeah, yeah,
going.
no, no, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, so of course, there's this long list that all humans have. Myself, the main three, because I've limited to the three main non-negotiables. She has to enjoy fitness, like has to enjoy going to the gym, working out, just health and nutrition in general. That's a big thing for me. If she doesn't, again, not saying she's a lesser choice, just not ideal for me for my experience in dating. So she has to enjoy health and fitness. That's a deal breaker. She has to have an active relationship with God. Active doesn't necessarily mean that you serve at church and you go to church 6 days out of the week or nothing. It just means it's a relationship that you work on. And even if you're at the beginning of the relationship, that's fine because that's my job as a man. I'll lead us there. I submit to God so that way I can lead the relationship. So even if you're not fully sold out, that's fine. As long as the desire to have a relationship with God is present, I can work with that. I feel like I'm over explaining everything, so my
No, no,
bad.
no, no, no. That's fine. We need to understand exactly what you mean.
Yes, ma'am. Right. But yeah, so enjoying working out, health and fitness, having an active relationship with God, and no children, just from my past experiences. Those are the first three that lets me know even if we should be communicating with each other. Once we have an understanding of those three, a big one for me is someone who actively desires to reciprocate energy that is given. Because I have no problem admitting I am a very affectionate man, and not just on a physical standpoint. Yes, I love physical touch, but not just purely sexual. Because again, I've been sexually abstinent for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
but more so just I enjoy showing up for my partner in whatever way that needs. I mean, whatever way that means. So whether it's like gift giving, if we're talking about love languages, instead of just spending $400 or $500 on a nice ring or a nice watch, what's something that's meaningful to you? If you enjoy pottery, I will go out of my way to get a specific piece of pottery just because that's something that's meaningful to you. When it comes to physical touch, if I know there's certain areas that's more comforting for you than others, I make sure to place my hands there so you feel comfortable with
All
my presence in
right.
you. Like I'm mindful, I'm trying out here, but just yeah. So reciprocative energy is definitely a big one. The another big one that's not physical or whatever, definitely someone who desires to create a safe space
Mm,
and not disrespecting my ex-wife. That's a chapter that closed. What happened happened. That's a closed chapter. I thank God for it. That was one thing that I really felt was missing. I didn't feel like I could ever be vulnerable. I didn't feel like I could ever bring my emotions to the table. So now, if I ever feel like I have to hold my emotions back or I have to put my armor up around you, respectfully, I wouldn't want to consider you as a romantic partner because I'm big on creating a safe space. Like,
mm,
this is life, and I'm the last person that I want my woman to feel like she has to have her guard up around because I'm
yeah,
supposed to lead and create that safe space. I would also like that reciprocated because I get tired, I get stressed.
yeah,
I'm leading dance classes with 150 kids on a day to day basis. My brain sometimes needs a break. So, a partner that's willing to reciprocate not only affection but also create a safe space, those are things that I need. And if someone feels like they can't or they're not at that space, that's respectfully a deal breaker as well. So
yeah.
hopefully that gives you an idea of like what all I'm looking for in a partner.
No, pretty reasonable. Okay, thank you for that. Do you have a physical preference? I forgot that question.
I've never had a physical preference as far as color. Now, height, I've gained a physical preference just for desiring somebody shorter, but that's only been because every woman that I've ever dated that was taller has always said at some point of the relationship or some point of the talking phase that me being shorter bothers them. I
Yeah,
am very comfortable and confident in who I am as a man, and I also know I'm not getting any taller. I'm 5'7". That's what you have to work with as far as height. And if a tall woman is comfortable with that height, I will absolutely date a tall woman. But again, the only reason I've gained the preference of someone being shorter is strictly because of my experience with every tall woman that I've dated. So I know not all tall women are like that. It's just from my experience, I'd rather stay away from the we start to get to know each other and then maybe a month or two down the line you hit me with the all of our dates have been great. I just don't like looking down whenever I got to kiss you. That's fine. I can respect it. So yeah, I would say I definitely have the preference from experience of having someone that's shorter. But outside of that, physically, just somebody that works out.
yeah.
Working out doesn't necessarily mean that you're slim and petite and you're less than 130 pounds. I love a thick woman. Okay, it just means you. All right, I ain't got these muscles for nothing. All right, I pick up boulders, but it's just the fact that if you care about your health, if you care about fitness, if you are actively on a fitness journey, it is very likely you are somebody that I can find attractive because that means you already care about health and wellness. So that's not something that I have to try to add to your life because I've tried the whole woman doesn't care about fitness, meets me. You can be my sexy personal trainer. It starts to get turned off after a while. I've done it too much. I don't want to do it no more. I need for you to already have a gym schedule. You already got an eating like health and fitness needs to already be very set in your life because I already
Yeah,
have my set schedule. I wake up at 4 a.m., go to the gym at 5 a.m. before school. Like my schedule is already set as far as fitness in my
yeah.
lifestyle that just needs to be present for that woman as well.
Do, do, do. So, what are you looking for in a partner character wise? You've already mentioned a few things, but
Mhm.
please describe that.
So definitely someone who one actually desires a genuine partnership rather than transaction. So
Mm,
I know social media pushes this whole transactional mindset. What does she bring to the table? What does he bring to the table? I can provide everything that I'm asking for. My mindset is nothing like that. Women need men, men need women. Partnerships require both people to
mm,
sacrifice. So that's one. The person that I desire absolutely has to have a mindset of partnership and wanting to make things work regardless of what worldly, I guess, distractions or trials that life throws at us. So that's one, someone who desires partnership. Someone who, like I said earlier, can reciprocate the energy that I offer, because again, very affectionate. Someone, like I said earlier as well, who can create a safe space, because I'm big on a safe space. Someone who definitely is willing to take part in my interest the same way that I'm willing to take part in theirs. Because you may not enjoy video games and anime, but you just saying, "Hey, Corey, I'll watch an episode with you." That 30 minutes will mean so much to me because
Yeah.
you're taking interest in something I care about, and I reciprocate that. Baby, I don't know how to ice skate at all, but you may love ice skating. I'll figure it out
Let's
because
make
I
it
love
happen.
you. You know what I'm saying? I'll figure it out. So someone
Yeah.
who's definitely comfortable taking interest in my loves and passions the same way I am theirs, and affection. I know I mentioned affection already before, but affection is also another big one because, again, me being a very affectionate male, I don't like if I feel like I'm doing too much. I don't like if I'm affectionate and I'm expressing I like you, I want to spend more time with you, I want to take you on a date, etc., etc. And the woman doesn't reciprocate that because I know everybody expresses their love differently, but me being very affectionate, if I feel like I'm doing too much, then I will pull myself back because I don't like feeling like I'm reaching for you and you're pulling back, and then that causes a very
Yeah.
awkward sense of conversation between the two. So it definitely helps if the woman is fairly affectionate as well. That's a big one for
Yeah.
me as well. So that's definitely some care. Oh, laughter. We have to be able to laugh.
Yeah.
I am a teacher. I lead my students 24/7, and I teach dance to adults as well on a nonstop. I love laughter. I love lightheartedness. I love for us to be able to let our guard down and just enjoy each other's company. I don't want to be in a business relationship. I want to
Yeah.
laugh. I want to smile. I want to feel genuinely attracted to my partner, not just from how she looks, but how the level of compatibility we have with just natural conversation.
Mm.
Humor and laughter is definitely a big one as well.
Yeah. Pretty good. Okay, nice. You mentioned you've been married before.
Mm-hmm.
When was your last, can I say, marriage? Or did you have a
Yes.
relationship after that? I'm not sure. That's why usually the question would be, when was your last relationship and why did it end? I assume, I'm not sure, that your last relationship was your marriage or.
Yes, yes,
uh,
ma'am.
Okay, so maybe you can explain a little bit.
Absolutely, not a problem. So my well, only marriage because I've only been
Mm.
married once, but my marriage, we separated in July-ish of 2023, and then it was finalized in January of 2024. So technically, I guess if you will, the divorce technically was only solidified January 2024, but her and I completely separated, cut contact outside of like the divorce process completely July 2023. I moved out, we separated, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
And not down batting her or bad mouthing her because I wasn't perfect either. I would definitely say ultimately the relationship ended because her and I were never a good fit overall. And then umbrella wise, we both had our own issues. So like overall, we both had a very different outlook on life. Now, granted, I didn't really realize this until after the fact, because after the fact is when I really started getting serious about God, and that's when I went through the very intentional process of healing, self-reflection, taking accountability for the part that I played, et cetera, et cetera. So everything I'm gonna say, if people hear it, they're gonna say, "Why did you stay?" But realistically, while I was in it, I wasn't looking at it like that. But now that I'm on the other side, that's when I did the reflection. But the main issue, her and I didn't share the same mindset as far as life. This is before I started chasing after God. This is before I had a relationship with him seriously. But her mindset was more so selfishness. My mindset was more so selflessness. Like my mindset was, I really want to be useful to other people on this world. Her mindset was, I really want to focus on myself and my dance career. And that alone, just our mindsets and lifestyles didn't match. Not bad mouthing her because people want to be selfish.
No,
That's
for
fine.
sure.
You have the right, you know. It's just during that time, those two lifestyles didn't work well. We just had a sense of compatibility that I just tried to look past stuff like that. And then going to the umbrella reasons, on my end, there was a situation that happened in during our marriage that even though I verbally, well, not during our marriage, it was during our relationship before we got married, even though I verbally told her I forgave her, I never truly forgave her for that incident.
Mhm.
And me not forgiving her, basically unforgiveness turned into bitterness, and bitterness caused me to really succumb to my emotions. So because of that, I loved her, but I stopped liking her. So I stopped taking her on dates. I stopped pursuing her romantically, realistically. Our sex life was very dull. I never wanted to have sex because I would always think of that incident. Like, just instead of really setting the boundary and making it clear, like, hey, I don't forgive you. I don't think it's wise for us to stay in a relationship. I didn't have a sense of self love and self worth. So I allowed myself to stay in the situation, even though I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And that bitterness, like I said, it caused me to not treat her like a girlfriend. It started feeling like a bit of a roommate situation. Like I said,
Mhm.
I never led as far as dates. I stopped buying her flowers. I stopped looking for small gifts to buy her to make her feel
Mhm.
like she was special, I guess, if that makes sense. So I definitely take accountability for the part that I struggled with unforgiveness and I allowed that unforgiveness to turn into emotional bitterness. So that
Mhm.
was on my end. On her end, she was very big on selfishness. She prioritized her dance career, her own desires, and that made me feel like I was never a priority. But then on top of that, she never gave genuine, or let me not say never, rarely gave genuine apologies. Because the big thing for me, if you apologize, the apology is empty if you say the word but and if you don't add any action behind the apology. Like, you say, I'm sorry, but I was focused on myself. To me, that's not a genuine apology. You're just trying to get your point across. And then
Mhm.
furthermore, if there's not a action change, if there's not a change in your character, a change in your personality, et cetera, then the apology feels empty because it was just words that weren't action behind it. And that happened a lot with her as far as not offering a genuine apology and making me feel like she was genuinely apologetic for her actions. So me, unforgiveness and bitterness, her selfishness and lack of genuine apology. And like I said, ultimately we both just had two completely different lifestyles and mindsets, and it didn't mesh well. And we just finally got to the point. I tried to save the marriage. She said that she was done. She wanted to let it go. So even though I tried to save it, I don't regret that it ended, and I thank God because it
Mhm.
was a situation that never should have happened in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we go through situations to have exactly those, how do you say, um, what's the right word?
You good? You good? I know it happened to me
But
too.
you know
You
what I
good?
mean. So
Yeah, yeah, like
sometimes
life
we have to go
premonitions, things in that nature. Yeah,
exactly. So we have to go through certain things to have a certain view on
yeah.
life. And also to maybe know what the things like to understand the things that we could work on or should work on ourselves for sure.
Hmm.
But you've mentioned that she something happened. I mean, obviously I don't you don't need to share what happened exactly, but
Hmm.
from my understanding you still married her after the incident. Why?
Yep. And this goes back to when I first started talking about it. When I was saying, if people listen to the outside, if people listen from the outside, they're gonna say, "Well, why did you stay in the first place?" That's usually
Mhm,
the question I get if I'm speaking to somebody about that vulnerable aspect.
mhm,
And for me, during that time, like I said, I wasn't looking at it like that. I had a very severe lack of self love and self worth.
yeah.
Like, I was not anywhere near as confident in who I was as a person back then as I was now. And I did not have anywhere near the willingness to enforce boundaries like I do now. So for me, because I was so infatuated, and that's another aspect, I used to be very infatuated with relationships, marriage, like that used to be a very big idol. So since I lacked a sense of self love and self worth, and since I idolized relationships, I was so willing to push the negatives aside just because I wanted to make it work with someone that I loved instead of accepting I am hurt to the degree where I'll never look at you the same. I need to remove myself. That comes from stemming lack of self love, lack of self worth, lack of enforcing boundaries, just lack of actually putting my foot down when I feel disrespected. Because I was disrespected majorly, but I just, again, I idolized the relationship. And even though she did the whole "I'm sorry, but" situation, I believed her during that time because again,
Mm.
I didn't love myself enough. So yeah, that's definitely what it stemmed down to as far as me choosing to stay. And even during the wedding, I knew something was wrong. I didn't cry when she walked down the aisle. Before the wedding, I was feeling very off emotionally. Like it was one of those situations where God was speaking very loudly. But
Yeah.
again, I didn't have a relationship with God back then like I do now. So I wasn't really listening. It was more like a, well, I already proposed, so we here
Yeah.
now. Let's make it work. So
I
that's the reason why I
understand.
say I thank God that it ended because it never should have happened in the
Yeah.
first place. I don't wish her no negativity, no ill will. I wish her, her family, her life, just I don't wish them any negativity. I pray that everything is going well. And God, we separated. God found me. God healed me. This
Hmm.
is who I am and where I'm at now. And I'm just taking it one prayer, one day at a time.
Yeah. I truly appreciate your vulnerability, and that you're so open with me. Um, but an important question: are you guys still in
Mhm.
contact? Like, some people stay friends.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely. We cut contact. When I tell you, when we separated, all contact was cut outside of like the professional. This is the papers we got to sign for the divorce. We need to meet in person to get these documents notarized, like things in that nature. But outside of that, no, because that's when I started going through my intentional process of healing, self love, self worth. And that's when I actually started to realize, yo, I allow again, not making it sound like I was perfect. I was not. I
Yeah.
made my mistakes as well. It's just that's when I looked at it and was like, yo, I allowed so much disrespect. And even though I was too soft of a man back then, that does not justify her treating me the way that she did. Like
Mm.
just because I was a soft man, me being a soft man doesn't mean that you should step over somebody just because they're soft,
No,
if that
I,
makes
I
sense.
I totally
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, I hate marriage ending, but thank God you didn't have children, because otherwise you would have been tied for life.
When I tell you, my family and I, we mentioned that so much. I thank God that we didn't, and we was able to have a
Yeah.
clean cut, and no more dealings with each other. I thank God for it.
Good. Nice. What's the age range that you're looking for?
Usually somewhere between, I'm not limited to, but usually somewhere between around 27 to 35,
Mhm.
somewhere in that age range. Because I'm 32. I would like for somebody to have a decent understanding of life, had some experience, but I also know experience is not limited to age. So,
Mhm.
standardly, I look for that 27 to 35 age range, if you will, but I'm not limiting myself to that, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Good. So we arrived at. I mean, we can already see what you look like
Mhm.
physically because you're like so far away, but we arrived at the body cam. So please stand up, go to the
Okay.
back, do a
Okay.
360, and then come
You know
back.
what I'm saying? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Just, yeah.
Ooh, flex.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But no, this I'm in my comfortable clothing because again I taught dance and I haven't
Mm,
showered yet, so this is comfort clothing. Usually I would be more dressed up for a date or an event like this, but
mm,
I had just gotten home not too long ago from teaching and I didn't get a chance to shower. I didn't have that time, but
mm.
this is just comfortable wear. I'm fairly tatted, so my I'm tatted from here to my chest. This is a half sleeve. I have a cross here. I have two I don't know if you can see, well, you may not be able to see too
Yeah.
well, but basically two tattoos on my left leg, one tattoo on my right leg. I think I'm done as far as tattoos, but who knows? But yeah, I'm fairly done. I believe I'm done as far as
Do
tattoos.
you
But
do you
yeah,
like tattooed ladies?
I do. I love tattooed ladies. You can be bare skinned. I
Okay.
am attracted to tattoos just because I have tattoos, but that doesn't mean I'm knocking off bare skin ladies. But yes, I love a good tattoo. Your boy love a good
Nice.
thigh tat. I can't lie. Love a good thigh tat. Love look sleeve. I can't lie.
Nice, nice.
mm.
Okay, we're almost at the end. Two more
hmm
questions. What are two flaws of yours, or things that you think that you should work on?
hmm Two flaws that I have now. I believe some people may not see this as a flaw. I can be a bit introverted.
Mm.
Now, I'm doing better. Like I'm actively working on it. I take myself out on dates. I get myself out of the house. I take myself to events, even though I don't always want to go, like by myself, whether it's to a con. Like I took myself to a candlelight dinner here recently just to go. I take myself out to breakfast. Like I'm actively working on that issue.
Hmm.
But I definitely can say that sometimes I feel like I'm a bit too introverted, and that could be limiting me from meeting my partner in person. I guess if that makes sense or whatever. So even though some people may not feel like being introverted is a flaw, I do feel like sometimes, especially in weather like this, I spend a little bit too much time in the house. That's why I try to take myself hiking, working out, just doing different things to get myself out of the house. So
Yeah.
being introverted, I would definitely say is one. And another flaw. I've heard this before. I don't know if it's a flaw or not, but something I've heard before. The boundaries that I've now created, or let me not say boundaries, non-negotiables that I create are very rigid, simply meaning that I don't bend on them. I don't feel like that's a boundary, but some people feel like you need to be adaptable when it comes to finding a partner because you won't always find somebody that meets all your needs or all your desires.
Right.
For me, I had already went through that process of elimination as far as finding what things are most important. That's why I limited to those three,
Mm.
relationship with God, enjoying fitness, and no children, just
Yeah.
because those are big lifestyle characteristics that I care about. But some people have said if you're not willing to bend somewhere, even though I feel like I've already done enough bending as far as my experiences, then that may hold you back
Hmm.
from finding your partner. So that one is more so from the outside. That's not necessarily one for me. And I don't want to make this sound like I am perfect. I'm not
Hmm.
perfect by any sense. The introverted one, it definitely comes from me personally. But the
Hmm.
second one definitely is more so from external,
Yeah.
I guess, external standpoints. But for me, I don't feel like having standards and boundaries and non-negotiables is a
Mm.
negative. But those are the first two I can think of. But again,
Mm.
those are the first two that's come into my head. I
Yeah.
have done a lot of like intentional work on myself. So it's not that I think that I'm perfect. It's not that I think that I don't have flaws. Like I said, I used to have a lack of self-love, lack of self-worth. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't know what it meant to enforce boundaries. I was basically a simp slash pushover when it came to women. I used to be very sexually active. I used to be led by my lustful desires. I used to, after the divorce, I used to react to almost all my emotional triggers. I used to live with hate on my heart. I used to really hate my ex, and that led me to hating women for a little bit. Just, I used to have a lot of problems, and I
Yeah.
went through a very intentional process of healing those things to make sure that they don't ever, one, for myself, so that I feel comfortable living, but also so that they don't spew into the other person's life that I'm dealing with or
Hmm.
whatever. So that's the reason why I say those two off the top of the head. There may be more that may come to my
Hmm.
brain while we're still conversing, but those are the two that come to my head off rip.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Um, I mean, I don't know the people around you or in your life, but the three non-negotiables that you've mentioned. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm from Europe, by the way. Don't be surprised. It's dark over here. I'm in Germany.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, but the non-negotiables that you've mentioned and the single people that I know in my community in my life, it's pretty realistic to find what you are interested in. So
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, and as far as I see, you don't have kids, you are not tied to a marriage anymore, and you've done the work on yourself. I think the possibilities there, because there are some people who reach for the stars, but they haven't done the work on themselves. But
Right.
from what I've seen so far and heard so far, I mean, I don't know you personally, but it sounds pretty
Right.
positive.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate hearing that.
you're welcome. Okay, the last question. Why would a person, a lady or woman, your future wife, sorry, be
Yes, future
lucky
wife.
to be with you?
Oh, I am a lover and a leader at heart. So I am very big on leading and creating a safe space. I'm very loving, caring, kind, respectful, but I'm also stern. So I like to lead from a place where you know you are safe, you are loved, you are secure. Anything that you desire to go after, you will be supported. Your thoughts will always be heard. You're dealing with somebody who wants nothing but the best for you, who wants to make sure that you feel gentle while you're with me, not just in the physical sense of I'm not picking up boxes and taking out trash, but from a mental and emotional space where when you come to me, when you're around me, you can turn your brain off and melt and let me handle the things that need to be handled in that aspect. In that same sense, you're also dealing with someone who's not a pushover, who's done the intentional work, that wants to lead from a place of God, that submits to God so I can lead a relationship from the positive aspects of Christ centered values. A man who has no problem telling you when you are doing something wrong and holding you accountable. And a man who can also receive that same level of criticism. Because the same way that I want to give my wife and my woman healthy criticism, I want that in return. If I can tell you you're not living up to your standards, you're not living up to your purpose, you're starting to become a little lazy, you're starting to miss out on the gym, you're starting to fall away from your purpose or your passion. I would like that in return. Let's lift each other up. And I'm willing to receive that as well as give that. And not just, I keep saying, I don't want to just say the word simp, but not just coddle to the idea of just making sure you feel loved and cared for while allowing you to be lazy. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are definitely qualities that make me feel like I would make an amazing husband as far as somebody who's looking for someone who enjoys working out, Christ centered values, enjoys laughter, it actually enjoys going on dates, planning dates, setting reservations, getting us out the house, who can control his sexual desires. Because again, I'm sexually abstinent,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not like I'm trying to do anything sexual first night, second night, or anything like that until we get married. Someone who respects you beyond what you look like physically. I care about you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Just, I am very big on partnership, not just transaction. So if you're a woman who actually desires a partnership, something that builds, I'm here for it. As long as you can get past the fact that I'm 5'7", because that's been a problem for a lot more ladies than you could actually imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Me being 5'7", as long as you can get past me being 5'7", I'm golden. We're good.
Look, I'm telling you, the internet is lying. People say
Okay.
they're a good man. What are they talking about?
what they talking? What they talking about? I don't know. I don't know. I'm here
Look,
and
it
I'm
sounds like a good
searching.
catch to me.
I'm here and I'm searching. I am
Yeah,
here and I'm searching. I'm just trusting God, taking it one prayer, one day at a time. That's it.
yeah, yeah. So, how can the person reach out to you? Please let us know, or spell your Instagram handle. Yes.
Absolutely. So my Instagram handle is C Smith Choreo. That's the letter C. My last name Smith, Smith, and then Choreo, Choreo. I'm on it every now and then, just nowhere near the amount that I used to. But with that being said, because this is a very interpersonal like connection, and most people will be reaching out that don't know me,
Mm.
IG will probably be the best way before we
Yeah.
exchange numbers for sure.
Yes, for sure. And
My
so
number, okay, sure.
if he doesn't answer, let me know.
Okay, let her know. Let her know.
Yeah,
Take my
yeah.
number down. Okay, very personal. I'm comfortable.
Okay, perfect. Kari, we are done. Thank you for participating.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it very much. Maybe if you know somebody else in your life who could be interested in this format, you can let me know. And I want a small feedback from you as to why you decided to participate and
Mhm.
how you felt during this interview. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, simply put, I'm a man that's actively desiring love. I'm actively
Mhm.
desiring a romantic relationship. I'm actively desiring to share my life with a person, with a partner. I already went through the whole solo process of healing, analyzing, reflecting, be by yourself, no roster. My phone is dry right now. I don't mean kind of dry. If I
Yeah.
put my phone on do not disturb, it's my mama and my cousin calling. My phone is completely dry. I've been
Mhm.
single, so I am at a place now where I'm comfortable attaching myself to a person. So having a situation like this be just introduced to me where I can just put myself out there on a public platform, not just like a dating app where it's just pictures and prompts that I'm responding to, but a genuine live face to face, well, not face to face, but live conversation where you can see my genuine reaction. You can see what I look like in person without a filter and without proper lighting, if you will. You can
Mm.
see who I am as a person naturally rather than how I word things professionally. Like that's something that I absolutely look forward to because I would love for people to see who I am in a comfortable environment when I don't have to put on a mask, if you will.
Yeah.
So that aspect, I absolutely love that you introduced it to me, and I felt very comfortable. I loved your wording. I love the way that you placed the questions. I loved your freedom of allowing me to ramble because I felt like I rambled a little bit, but I thank you for letting me get it out so that people had sense to
Yes.
what I said. It was just I was very comfortable in the way that you presented this. So thank you. This was very well done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I think also, I mean, first, you're so eloquent. Like the way you,
Yeah.
the words are just flowing, you know?
I appreciate
Like
that. I
not
appreciate
nervous at
it.
all. And yeah, I love the way that you presented yourself, you know, like how do you say, respectable black man.
You know,
And
listen, stand by that. Stand by
yes.
that.
And yeah, I loved it. And I hope we'll find your wife. And yeah, I would. This is the goal. I want people to have connections, to have genuine connections, and I know how hard it is with dating apps and everything. I've
Hmm.
experienced myself, and yeah,
Hmm.
this is why I created this platform for people who are also, because you know, I don't want people who are like, I don't know how to say it. I don't just let anyone on my show. I want people on my show
Yeah,
who
right.
have common sense and who are not
Smart. Okay.
too emotionally damaged, if that makes sense, or
Hmm.
who have
Yes,
worked on
ma'am.
themselves also.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So
I can
yeah.
definitely say you have done an amazing job, and I am very grateful to be one of the. I was about to say contestants. It's not like this is a game show, but just
Yeah.
I am very grateful to be one of the people that you chose to interview. I
Mhm.
definitely do not take it lightly, and you did everything amazingly well. I felt very comfortable, so I appreciate you for that
Thank you
again.
so much, Corey. Have a good day and me a good night.
Yes, have a good night. Thank you. Have a
Okay,
blessed
bye.
one. Bye.